Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the topic databases. This is a part 2 video. Those who didn't watch part 1 video, please go ahead and watch it first since this is a continuation of part 1. So in the part 1 video, we have seen about what is databases and what is the difference between RDBMS and NoSQL databases. And we have seen the 6 number of search engines of the RDBMS, and we have seen about Amazon Aurora. So in this lecture, we are going to discuss about the topic backup and recovery, Amazon Redshift, and at last Amazon DynamoDB. So as we know, like in every organization, it is very important to take a backup of everything so that we could restore it in case of any disaster. So similarly, we can take a backup in AWS databases as well. So Amazon RDS provides two mechanisms for backing up the databases. First one is automated backups and manual. Second one is manual snapshot. Each organizations typically will define a recovery point objective and recovery time objective for important applications based on the criticality of the application and the expectation of the users. RPO is defined as the maximum period of data loss that is acceptable in the event of failure or incident. Say, for example, one database is running and suddenly due to some reasons, it suddenly went off in the sense it become failure in the sense that time some transactions will not get updated in the databases, right? So that is maximum period of data loss, say 5 minutes data loss or 10 minutes data loss is acceptable. In that case, they will in those kind of stuffs and all, they have defined as RPO, whereas RTO is defined as the maximum amount of downtime which is permitted to recover from backup and to resume processing. So this is a RTO. Okay, so first one is, next we will talk about automated backups. Automated backup is an Amazon RDS feature that continuously tracks changes and backs up your database. Amazon RDS creates a storage volume snapshot of your DB instance, backing up the entire DB instance and not just individual databases. So these are all will be taken by automatically by the AWS. So when you enable this option, automated backup option, it will take backups of entire database, not the individual database. It will take the entire database instance as a backup, and it will continuously taking a backup. And the retention period is by default it will be 1 day, but uh, it can extend up to 35 days as well. So there will be an option to increase the database retention period as up to 35 days. When you delete a DB instance, all automated backup snapshots are deleted and cannot be recovered. Manual snapshots, however, are not deleted. This is one major disadvantage of taking automated backups. So, which means if you enable the automated backups, it will continuously with the period taking a backup based on the some periodic time. But if you delete a DB instance in the sense, automatically the all the automated taken backups will be get also deleted. But if you go for a manual snapshot, it will be deleted until you explicitly go ahead and delete the manual snapshot from the uh, AWS, from the cloud. And automated backups will occur daily during a configurable 30-minute maintenance window called the backup window. Automated backups are kept for a configurable number of days called the backup retention period. So by default, the backup retention period is 1 day, but you can extend up to 35 days. Okay. So next one is manual DB snapshot. So as I mentioned here in the previous slide, manual DB snapshot will not be deleted until you explicitly delete the manual snapshot. And the DB snapshot is initiated by you, and you can create as frequently as you want. And it can be created with the Amazon RDS console or the create DB snapshot action. And manual DB snapshots are kept until you explicitly delete them with the Amazon RDS console or the delete DB snapshot action. And an important note is, for busy databases, use multi-availability zone to minimize the performance impact of a snapshot. Everyone knows, during the backup window, storage I/O may be suspended while your data is being backed up, and you may experience elevated latency. This is obvious, right? Because while taking the backup, it has to stop or suspend. It has to pause the DB instance for a while so that it can take the entire DB instance as a backup. So this IO suspension typically lasts for the duration of the snapshot. This period this period of IO suspension is shorter for multi-availability zone DB deployments because the backup is taken from the standby, but latency can occur during the backup process. Okay, because we have a master slave, we will have a two number of DB instances in which one will act as a primary and another will act as a standby. So if you plan to take a snapshot of if you plan to take a backup of a DB instance, in the sense you can initiate the backup process from the standby instance, so that all whatever the transactions happens in the primary, it will be continuously it will be running. So you're going the backup process will be taken will be processed only on the standby instance. So but this will be useful. This will reduce the downtime of the DB instance. Okay, but latency can occur during the backup process in the standby instance. Next one is recovery. So we have taken a backup. Next step is we are going to use the backup for recovery process. So Amazon RDS allows you to recover your database quickly, whether you are performing automated backups or manual DB snapshot. You cannot restore from a DB snapshot to an existing DB instance. A new DB instance is created when you restore. When you restore a DB instance, only the default DB parameter and security groups are associated with the restored instance. So which means when we are going to restore, when you are plan to restore a DB instance, only the default DB parameter and security groups are associated with the restore instance. As soon as the restore is complete, you should associate any custom DB parameter or security groups used by the instance from which you restored. So which means you have taken a backup and you plan to restore, in the sense you cannot restore the DB snapshot to an existing DB instances. So we need to create a new instance, and then we can use our backup snapshot to restore the databases. This is one of the important point. And next one is, when using automated backups, Amazon RDS combines the daily backups performed during your predefined maintenance window in conjunction with transaction logs to enable you to restore your DB instance to any point during your retention period, typically up to the last 5 minutes. So next one is Amazon Redshift. So Redshift is used nothing but a fast, powerful, fully managed petabyte scale data warehouse service in the cloud. So this is as like in the part one video itself, I have mentioned that Redshift is used for data warehouses, which is a online analytical process, right? So it is a relational database designed for OLAP, online analytical process scenarios, and optimized for high performance analysis and reporting of very large data sets. Amazon Redshift gives you fast querying capabilities over structured data using standard SQL commands to support interactive querying over large data sets. So as I mentioned earlier, Amazon Redshift is used used in data warehouses, and this is useful for OLAP transactions. OLAP, online analytical process scenarios, and this is a relational database type. So everything will be in SQL format. So Amazon Redshift manages the work needed to set up, operate, and scale a data warehouse, from provisioning the infrastructure capacity to automating ongoing administrative tasks such as backups and batching. So all we need to do is we have to create a DB instance with Redshift. And that's it. All other all other administrative tasks will be taken care by the Amazon. So Amazon Redshift automatically monitors your nodes and drives to help you recover from failures. So it will automatically monitors the DB instance for changes, and it will help you to recover from failures as well. So next one is Amazon DynamoDB. This is an example of this is a SQL engine of NoSQL databases. So Amazon DynamoDB is a fully managed NoSQL databases service that provides fast and low latency performance that scales with ease. It is significantly simplifies the hardware provisioning, setup and configuration, replication, software patching, and cluster scaling of NoSQL databases. It can provide consistent performance levels by automatically distributing the data and traffic for a table over multiple partitions. After you configure a certain read or write capacity, Amazon DynamoDB will automatically add enough infrastructure capacity to support the requested throughput level. So as I mentioned earlier, this is a example search engine for NoSQL databases, and it can provide consistent performance level. So all we need to do is, if we enable the if we create a DB instance with the Amazon DynamoDB, in the sense, that's it. Automatically all other administrative tasks will be taken care by the Amazon. Okay. So next one is, as your demand changes over time, you can adjust the read or write capacity after a table has been created, and DynamoDB will add or remove infrastructure and adjust the internal partitioning accordingly. To help maintain consistent fast performance levels, all table data is stored on high performance SSD disk drives. In addition to providing high performance levels, Amazon DynamoDB also provides automatic high availability and durability protection by replacing data across multiple availability zones within an AWS region. Okay, so we can, as we know, like relational database will be look like tables, and it will have rows and columns. NoSQL databases will not have tables as like RDBMS. It will be in JSON format. So this is a sample example, or this is a sample for NoSQL databases. It has ID. This is a 101. So this is nothing but a student ID. In the part one video, we have seen about sample table, right? So there we have a student ID. Similarly, it has a student ID like 101, and the product name is book 101 title. So something name. This is a product name which is having a combination of string and data, number data type, and ISBN, authors, price, dimension. So this will be in a JSON format, JavaScript object notation script. So this is a format of normal NoSQL databases. Okay, so that's all today, guys. So hope you like this video. If you have any comments, please. If you have any feedback, please leave us a comment. And if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and share this video. And please do not forget to subscribe to Mitravarna channel. Thank you.